And Heather, would you say pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I really don't have much to say this evening, except for we're kind of meeting out, so let's move along with this one. And stay cool when you get home. Any citizens' comments? I don't think we have any citizens on Zoom that would like to make a comment? Hearing none, I'll move along. Approval of the minutes of June 13th. We did not have a July meeting.
Make a
June
motion to
13th.
approve the minutes.
Entertain a motion. Now
No,
remember
second.
Robert's Rules of Order. We have a motion. We second it, then we discuss. Just
Make a
And I second.
motion.
and a second from Linda. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll put the motion to the floor for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes for June 13th, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Subcommittee updates. We had a financial subcommittee. Who wants to give the update on that? Well, I will give the update on that. Maybe we don't have it yet. All right, I'll give the update on that. Bill Stegler gave us a preliminary update on where we stand at the end of on June 30th, 22. And we're waiting to apply a 384 excess cost share for the pupil services. So at this point, this is before the auditors have done their thing, we would be about 200,000 to the good. And that would make us, we're still around 300,000 over in pupil services. In district-wide, we're over by 47.7. That's mostly security. And in tech, we're over by 32,000, and that's due to mostly software costs. Am I correct, Bill, stating that? Okay. And then we discussed in our non-union salary increases, which we'll get to further on in the agenda. And also our other meeting was the superintendent's evaluation, which we will also get to further on in the agenda. Next is the enrollment report. Superintendent.
So as you can imagine, every day the enrollment numbers change depending upon withdrawals or enrollments. So as of noon today, we still have 897 students. However, at Marriott Fisher, we now have 376. We picked up 4 kindergarten students already this week, so we really don't know where that number is going to land. And at the middle school, we had 294, and at the high school, 229 students. And then we have those 3 students that are in our transition program for a total number of 897 students as of today at noon. But Danette warned me that, if things don't settle down until October 1, When we're putting in our state report, that's our first enrollment report to the state, and then we have another one in the spring. So usually you see those numbers fluctuate back and forth. Even when I report out to the Board of Finance, I don't like to give enrollment numbers until after the October 1 date. But we're down a little bit, but I anticipate we're getting more and more increase around kindergarten. So I'm really glad that we left that fourth kindergarten teacher in place. We'll probably see that class number go up. I think it was around 13, 14 students per class prior to those 4 that came in. So the numbers in Keisha look pretty good this year. And hopefully we're gonna maintain and keep our high school students in place. No one's, basically withdrawn to go out to the BOAGs or Ellis that haven't already committed to do so. The numbers right now are still low, but I anticipate they'll go up.
Melinda, one question on the increase in elementary.
Yeah,
Should the total now be 901?
I just added them up. I got 902.
did you mean that bottom number's wrong?
Yeah.
You said it went up
If you
today
added
to
the 4,
376.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've got to change the total now.
She didn't change the.
All right, so 902, Bill?
So this is not a Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
Danielle, can we ask her to put it in Excel? Thank you. She was probably trying to get it to me fast because I knew the numbers changed from Friday.
Yeah.
As long as it's up
900,
over
so-
900, I like
Yeah.
that.
Keep it above
Thank you.
900.
I didn't, I'll make sure I add them up.
What we have for. That's it. We got Linda for English and you got the rest of us for math.
Yeah, really. I was wondering, how do we stay the same if we had more students?
I have a quick question. Ninth graders are current ninth graders, right? Not the eighth graders that we've done.
Correct.
That
That's been
is the,
adjusted.
okay, that
Yeah.
is the ninth grade, okay.
Good retention
Yeah.
from
26.
prior years.
Yes.
12 is 46, so yeah.
Right.
So we only had 6 students from the 8th grade go to Ellis this year?
Well, I think that number, so we only had 6 or 7 that we knew at the end of June.
Oh, okay.
I haven't gotten the Ellis list. We got the BOAG list, and the BOAG list is low.
Right.
I think there's only like 13 students at the BOAG. We were surprised to see that. So, more and more students are staying here, but I can get the Ellis list and get that out to you during my brief, get you a total
I
number.
mean, not to speak badly about other schools, but I think with a lot of negative press that was going on in Killingly, I think that might have helped our situation out a little bit this year.
It might have.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, I like to think the other way, I'm hoping that those career pathways that they're building up there are enticing our kids to stay.
I
And
agree. I hope it's for that reason and, and I think, again, I think our staff is doing a much better job at informing 7th grade, 8th graders along the way.
Right. And remember, we got 8th graders taking classes up at the high school for credit.
Correct.
And they get a little flavor of what it's like up at the high school and then they stay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, as much as we can talk to the students and the families, until they experience what it's like, I think that's why in some cases we're keeping some children here, some students here. I'm glad to see it.
Are we still doing the peer model? Isn't that what, or it was a mentoring program?
So they're trying to bring that back. They did a little bit of that. Kim and Nate did a little bit of having the high school kids go down and then give tours of the high school. So they're doing more of that. And luckily, we have those 2 periods that align, so it's a lot easier to do that type of thing. I wish, in my heart of hearts, I wish both schedules lined up completely, but that would mean more staff. That's not happening, so.
Personnel hiring update.
Okay, so today, All the para positions as of today, I wish I had some more, are covered. So I'm really happy about that. We don't usually see that. We usually have open para spots. So we're very excited about that. At Mary R. Fisher, we're still looking for a grade 4 special education resource teacher and an art teacher. So those are 2 positions that are open that Mr. Prentice and his team are interviewing for. At the middle school, we are still looking for a nurse. We've had some applicants, we've had some candidates, but we want to have the right match. So we're being a little picky, but we also have 2 full-time nurses here that can open school if we run into a bind and we haven't picked a good candidate yet, but we're still continuing to look. I'm hoping within the next month we'll have a nurse on staff. The art teacher that I reported to you in my briefs that was hired withdrew the following day because she got a job in the same town that she lives in. So she was hired and withdrew within 24 hours. And then the special ed resource teacher here at the middle school is still open, and science at the high school. And we are looking at a network manager to replace Tracy. We had a very nice candidate in today. Heather and I had a second interview with that individual. That person's coming back to do a walkthrough. So we're hoping very much that we can attract that candidate. And if we can, then that'll be good news, one other position off the list. We're not as worried about, obviously, that position as we are with the classroom teachers and the special ed teachers. We want to make sure they're in place. And when I look to my colleagues who are more positions open, I think we've recruited some good people, and we've also hired some Thompson people that are right out of school that are good candidates, highly qualified. So I'm really excited about having these new folks come on board. So I think we could be in a lot worse shape, but we are, 6 positions open, and we still have a couple weeks left. I'm feeling hopeful that everything will be filled. I don't want to start off the school year with a sub in a class, but it could happen.
I feel like too, like a position like art would be something that's hard to get. So to have, I mean, most school districts have many math teachers or English teachers, but there's only one art teacher. So it's probably hard for somebody that just got out of art school to get a job as an art teacher. So I would feel like that you'd be pretty confident that you'd be able to fill that.
I'm hoping so. We thought that with physical education the
Right.
last couple of years, and that seemed to be an area that we had difficulty finding good candidates for. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe
Yeah.
not as many people going into the unified arts area. I don't know. I'm really hoping we want to get a good art teacher because, the middle school art teacher was doing a lot, the parade, the theater, as add-ons to the role of that art teacher. So I'm hoping that we're able to get some candidates, but I do know there were a couple of applicants, and I know Larry and Kim were going to actually interview together. So at least there's candidates there. I'll keep you updated on Friday. I'll let you know how that stands on Friday after they do some interviews.
So now the administrative reports. to give Dr. Manning.
No, the principals are, yeah.
Larry? Chris? All right. Bill. Stegler.
Which one?
Which
Oh,
one?
not this again. Which bill? Don't say.
So really to recap, Kathleen's very nice summary from the subcommittee meeting. Year-to-date spending at this point, we're at 18.8 million, which is 98.5% of budget compared to 98.4% at the same point last year. The encumbrances were at about just over 400,000, which is 2.2% of budget. When things settled out last year, we ended up at 0.7%. As I mentioned in the subcommittee meeting, that 0.7 reflects the benefit of hindsight through November of last year. So I'm hoping that we trend in that direction as time passes. Projected spending in total at the moment, 19.3 million, just over budget, compared to 99.1% in the prior year. We currently have 3 departments that are running in a deficit: pupil services at $687,000. driven mostly by transportation and tuition again. As Kathleen mentioned, that is before an estimated $384,000 of excess cost funding, which has been received, just hasn't been applied over to the Board of Ed side yet. District-wide, the district-wide cost center is $48,000 over budget, primarily related to higher than expected security spending, and the other department is technology at $32,000 with some higher than expected software costs, as well as some tech substitute spending in support of all the hybrid meetings that have been happening around town. Just one other brief item for the committee. King & King, our CPAs, are in town tomorrow and Wednesday for the interim portion of the audit. We've been going back and forth with their schedule request and their selections. So we'll be pulling information for them. They expect to spend most of their time at the town over the next couple of days. But at least one auditor will be spending half a day at the school, and I'll accompany them up there when they're up here for that.
I have a quick question for Bill, if that's okay. Quick question. I know we've talked a lot about closing out this fiscal year, but looking forward to the next one. I know we had like fuel, both heating fuel and bus fuel as a projected number.
Right.
Do we know what that is going to end up being, and is it scary?
This bill has been watching it like a hawk,
Okay,
and thank God things are trending in the right direction at the moment.
yeah.
Oh, today was
322.
was it just over $3?
Do we lock in? We lock in on a number at a
322.
certain point, do we not, or no?
Not yet.
No,
Okay.
but we have,
Okay,
it was, it closed on NASDAQ yesterday at 321.
So we're
okay.
closing in on our budget number.
Which was $3. What was our, what
I
was
think
the
it was
budget?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Our budget number was 3.
Yeah.
But that 321 was the NASDAQ number, that's on the futures market, and then there's a markup.
Right.
Probably another.
So as soon as it gets to 3, you're gonna lock.
Well, as soon as it gets to 3, we're gonna see if it drops any more. And then the day it turns around, we're gonna lock.
Okay, Bill. And you're up next.
Okay, took the wind out of my sails on oil.
Sorry.
Other than that, it's obviously, it's been a busy summer around here, not that it usually is not. We've done a lot of work on the new culinary arts program area. We actually got farther than I had originally anticipated. I think we're almost as far as we can go at this point, because any equipment that's ordered is 25 weeks out. So there's not going to be any equipment coming until after the first of the year. We won't be able to put the hood in until after we get the Alliance grant money, which is maybe September, October. But we got a good bite on it. We got a good head start. The locker rooms are gorgeous. The locker rooms, I think that project came out very well. We did good on it cost-wise, and I think everybody's going to be happy with that. The security issue that we had inside the courtyard with those additional buildings that were providing an entrance into the courtyard, those are gone. And kudos to my guys, they somehow have managed to grow grass in this time of year.
Can you send them to my house?
No, I'm not sending it to you. The softball field is being rebuilt. It's all been stripped off. It's been reskinned with stone dust. That is coming close to the end. The Frisbee golf course is all in.
What is this frisbee golf course?
Yeah, no, we had a frisbee golf course.
We do not. And it's all in, so that is gonna be ready to go this year. We had some issues with the irrigation system up on the athletic complex. We had to replace the pump this year. It's been probably about 12 years it's been in. But unlike the pump that many of us have at our house, that pump runs 24 hours a day from June to probably September, October. And we still have grass on the athletic complex. The other field, not so much. We've got some crabgrass, some weeds, but it, at this point, is still green. We did some work for the Bradley program. We remodeled an area down there that one time was an old teacher's lounge. It had no fresh air in it, so now we put a new system in there. It's getting fresh air, it's got air conditioning, it's got a new the whole thing is done. 2 new offices in there, and Lifespan is going to reimburse us for all of those costs. So that's all money that comes back to us. That's a no cost to us. And other than that, I'm gonna say it's just the average stuff, moving a lot of furniture, waxing a lot of floors, and getting ready because the days are starting to run short.
Yeah. We are starting early this year.
How's the
And by the way, oil is coming down.
How's the boiler holding up?
Oh, yeah.
The boilers? No problem with the boilers in August.
Right, 'cause they're not running.
So
But the
the,
new one, the new one.
yeah, so our boiler contractors are due on site. They were due on site today, but they're tied up at the University of Rhode Island with some ongoing problems there. They expect to be here by the end of the week. The goal is to have the old boilers out and off the roof by the time school starts. And they're still saying mid to late September on the boilers and mid-October on the burners.
Delivery or install?
Install.
That's right, we normally did.
Average, we usually turn them on when? Mid-October?
Well, it changes. So it's changed in the past 10 years, that the seasons have shifted. So it used to be, yeah, you're right, it used to be October 1st, we had to stop running the heat. But then by April 1st, we could pretty much shut it off. Lately, that date in the fall has been going later. So maybe you're into the first week of November before we really need the heat. But
So
I've still got the boilers running at the end of May. So the whole seasonal thing has just seemed to shift.
So we might have like a 2-week window probably, right, from installation if things get delayed.
We might.
Cool. Prices are coming down though, right?
Oil's coming down.
That's still a positive.
That's my takeaway for the day.
That's it.
Oil's coming down.
I'm not changing.
Just a question on if there is a delay with the boilers, do we have a backup plan?
So if there was a delay with the boilers,
Have a blanket.
it would depend just on what that delay was.
Okay.
If there was a shipment problem
Mhm.
or something, then, we might be able to fudge it for a couple of days because the building holds a lot of thermal mass.
Right,
And if it's warm during the day, it cools off overnight, but then it warms back up. You can get by for a while. A lengthy delay, we'd have to bring in portable boilers.
Okay.
And I mean, there's a way to do it, so it's not the end of the world. It's a cost that nobody is counting on. But
right. I just wanted to make sure we had something in process, just because with the nature of
There is.
what I do, we are seeing an
there is a
awful lot
worst
of-
case scenario plan.
Okay, perfect.
And thank you, Bill. Heather, she's on. Yep, she's there. Okay, Heather, give us an update on what's happening in IT.
Yes, hello. Okay, busy summer for us as well. Just a quick update though, we ordered 175 Chromebooks. So those are all getting assigned to 4th and 5th graders to replace outdated Chromebooks. And we will have extras that will be used for any new incoming students as well as Chromebooks that get broken. We ordered 60 high school student laptops because the high school students are using the Dell laptops. So those are all being imaged and configured for new freshmen and any other new incoming students. We also distributed 21 interactive flat panels, which is like the TV screen behind you. And we're in the process of delivering those out to classrooms. 8 of those were purchased with grant funds and the rest were purchased through my budget. A lot, let's see, several pieces of network hardware and software are being upgraded over the summer just to maintain industry standards. And several state reports have been completed this summer. The ED 166 discipline report, the ED 165 collects a variety of data like truancy, pre-K information, teacher attendance, school calendar information. The PSIS, which is the Public School Information System. That's another student enrollment report that is submitted at the end of each school year, as well as in October. That one was completed in June. And then the teacher course student report, which I do. Basically, that's a report of every class that we offer, every student that takes it, the teachers that teach it, and how many credits the students receive. And that is used to go over how much we're offering to increase college and career readiness of students. That is all for me.
Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
Okay, then next up is Shannon. Shannon, you're up.
She's there.
She's there.
Good evening.
Hello.
So basically, Melinda let you know we're still looking for a nurse. Melinda attended a meeting with the Department of Education with regard to how our managing COVID is going to look for the fall, and that's going to change quite a bit. Part of it is that people are going to be able to come to school with mild symptoms as long as they test before they come to school every day. They'll be able to come to school as long as they've tested negative. I'm still waiting for some local input with regard to the COVID rules and changes through NDDH and the State Department of Health. I believe they're going to be starting up the weekly meetings again. I'm not sure quite when. Melinda, I think you knew more about that date than I did.
They didn't give us a date, but said that that was forthcoming, so
Okay.
I would anytime soon.
Yeah. And that's about it.
It's good, more kids can come to school.
Well, it was hard over especially in the spring, is it an allergy? Is it COVID? And then if they've got sniffles and, we're telling them that they have to stay home if they have any symptoms, that created, kids being out of school a lot. And so I'm glad that they've relaxed that so that, and I know Shannon will stay on top of it, and Karen LaMontagne, they'll stay on top of it. And our teachers are the frontline defense, right? If the kid is hacking it up in class, they're gonna let us know that.
Right.
So.
And we'll have the test kits, so they're gonna do just the.
So we have a good inventory of test kits still from the last go around, and then the state is going to let us order PPE equipment and test kits. And Shannon and I have talked about maybe sending home a test kit on the first day of school with every child so that they have one at home. We're just waiting for the ordering information, but they say they're going to deliver this time, Bill, so you don't have to send someone out to get it. So that'll be nice.
All right, Deb, how are athletics for the fall lining up here?
I just had my coaches meeting, that's where I was. The high school parent player meeting's on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. So we'll get started because football starts next week. We have 14 boys playing football. Right now we have 7 boys for boys soccer, 25 girls, high school girls soccer. 4 all total, boys and girls, 5 rather, for cross country. Middle school's got 28 girls for soccer, 23 for boys soccer, and 15 for cross country. So our numbers, except for boys soccer, are pretty good, high school boys soccer. Coaches, right now, I've got single coaches, I don't have assistants. I'm lucky I have one coach right now. So we're still looking for some people.
How do you-
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just looking at Bill as a
Oh,
coach. Okay.
Did you had talked about last time, possibly doing something with Putnam with the boys and their girls were coming to here. Is that not?
I applied for the girls to come to us because they had 2 girls. Our numbers, I wasn't counting any freshmen, so I put our numbers in as 16. And there's a magic number that they have to do a co-op, do the right on the boat. They denied us coming in, so they'd rather not have Putnam have a girls' team than let those 2 girls play with us. So the caveat was, I would have to tell our team,
The boys.
if we were above, no,
No.
that if we were above that number, that our team would not be allowed to try for the state tournament. And I was not doing that to our girls. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're gonna help somebody else and penalize our kids.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And the same thing is reversed for Putnam. They're at 16 boys. If they brought our boys in, they'd have to tell them that they couldn't apply for the state tournament. So both Joe and I said,
Yeah.
forget it.
Okay.
So right now we have
So how many do
7
you
boys
need?
for boys, for
How
high
many,
school soccer.
how many do you need for a team for boys?
We need 11 on the field, but for the league we play in, we need 15 because we always have injuries and they need at least a sub, especially if the heat is like this.
So is the CIAC the one that?
Shut it down. It was designed, the cooperative team numbers were designed to help schools with programming. And now all of it, and they never allowed you to be, they never gave you the option before, you can bring other schools in if your numbers are over. They would, to allow you to play. So a lot of the big schools are having trouble with their numbers on the other end of the state. So the way they didn't want people racking up numbers coming in and making a powerhouse is they said they couldn't apply for the state tournament, which doesn't help us. It just helps them control the people who want to cheat.
They set one standard across all levels rather than class S, class M, class double L.
They don't do that. It's one, you know, Tom. we
No,
work
I know,
together.
yeah, we tried doing many things.
So is it looking like there won't be a boys soccer team, or maybe be able to send out a quick email blast to
I've
families?
got to have all the boys that were in here. We've been, the problem is we had 5 boys jump the football this year.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like they're not doing anything. They just redirected.
Mhm.
Are we losing any players to fall baseball or the AAU things and all those? Nothing.
What we lost for the soccer program, they went to football. And that doesn't mean football starts next week. They got conditioning and then they start hitting. Some of those boys never had that before.
That's true.
That doesn't mean they're not gonna come back and play. So,
That is
so
true.
if the numbers is, we're gonna wait until we see what happens. So, you know, first day of practice, see what happens. I still don't have a coach. I'm still looking for a coach and I'm in the bushes looking for a coach. So if we do have numbers on them, I'm gonna have to figure something out. I don't wanna have to do both teams. We end up with enough kids. We'll see what happens.
You talk to Mini-Me?
Yes, Minnie's already working.
Oh, okay.
She's already coaching.
All right, just
When's
checking.
the deadline that they have to apply to play soccer?
Soccer,
Yeah, the boys.
we don't start till August 25th.
We need physicals by when?
We've got a couple of days at the beginning of school that you can recruit.
That's true.
Don't worry, I've been recruiting.
I bet.
Ask Sean Sauce's son. He finally said to me, Miss Spinelli, no, I'm going to be playing basketball. I'm going to be busy, so I don't think I can do it. I said, okay.
This is good conditioning. for
That's what I told him for
basketball.
basketball.
Whoa,
Right.
wow. Let me talk to, I'll get him.
I
Okay.
told him, Luke, just say no.
It took him 3 texts before he finally did that.
All right, does anybody have any old business that we need to address?
Just 2 things. Can we go over a couple key dates? I know there's a walkthrough for the facility, or did that already happen?
No,
No,
that's 22nd.
All right, August 22nd is the walkthrough. Danielle, I know you've sent these.
Yes.
For some reason, I don't think I hit the right thing on my phone. August 22nd is walkthrough. When is the orientation that we were invited to?
Also August 22nd.
August 23rd.
That's the teacher orientation, right?
Correct.
Yes, in the morning. What time is that one?
8 o'clock.
In the auditorium?
It is. I know both Kathleen and Amy will be speaking and welcoming the teachers back.
All right, the walkthrough is 6 p.m.
That
All right,
sounds
any other key dates that were, I missed?
That was it.
Okay,
Those two.
when is Spinelli Deli open?
Don't open in the fall.
Okay, good.
Open on the spring.
No. Wait, I have to let you know, the first year that we had it open, guess how much we made out for the whole year?
$14.
$3.25.
Fabulous.
Stop it.
At least you were in the black.
Yes, sir.
Do we have an update on DATCO on the app and buses? Because that has not been updated on the website link yet.
No, it hasn't, and we have a meeting with them on August 10th, which is Wednesday of this week. I gave them several concerns that I had, but the app being actually the primary one. They assured me that that has all been corrected, and that they were going to give me a flyer and decorate information to download the app. We're in the process of putting together a newsletter that'll be mailed out to families, and that flyer will be in there. I just want to try it out and see that it works. The other thing is I need to have all the bus routes posted by next week, so they have to give me those. I have some problems on a couple of roads, one being Lowell Davis Road. That has been an issue. A bus used to go down there, a full bus used to go down that road and pick up students. That was Thompson Public School Transportation and DADCO. Then the pandemic hit, and for some reason, they no longer would take a bus down that road, and so students had to walk to the end of the street. I went back and forth with a family in DADCO. There are families on that street that are willing to allow the bus to back into. They'll sign a waiver, and DADCO flat out refused to do that. So Mr. Wurge Sr. Has organized a citizens group who are anti-DADCO contract coming up. He took me on a golf cart ride last week so that I could see what he was trying to tell me. And he's right. There are places that the bus could turn around. In one particular driveway, there's plenty of room. So I more or less said to DADCO that they need to resolve that problem, that the bus needs to go down there. And then we have another little issue that's been lingering for a couple of years at Sunset Hill, if you remember that one. We've got to at least get a van down that road. And since they're building routes now's the smarter time to figure out. The big thing that might impact the board is that the first selectman had asked that we change the pickup site for Ellis and the VOAG, which has always been at the town common. Well, apparently all the cars and buses are ruining the properties around there, the Mason House and all of that, that's been upgraded. So we're looking for an alternate site for pickup. I know Amy suggested the town hall parking lot. I've also asked DADCO to do an assessment of the town and see if there's another place that the bus could pick up students. So that should be resolved on Wednesday. Right now, it looks like the town hall parking lot would be the best spot because I guess where they used to pick up, and this is probably when you were chair, Bill, is now going to be the new CBD or that dispensary that has been proposed, so they can't pick up there, obviously.
Right.
So.
They all wanted to pick up. One-stop shopping, but
So
as long as the bus driver's not
that's gonna upset some parents because they are, that has to be changed because the buses and the cars over in that area are just damaging stuff over there. And so Amy asked me in the spring, and I said in the spring was too hard for us to make the change, but I told her we'd work on it for the school year. So those are some things that I need to address with DADCO on Wednesday. And then, of course, you all know, right? The RFP will go out this fall for a new bus company because, believe it or not, it's been 5 years. You know, there are some some concerns about rural roads and them not being willing to work with us or work with the neighbors to bring buses down some of those rural roads. So we know that, you know, a lot of our streets are windy. There's nowhere for kids to walk, and it makes it worse in the winter. But some of those roads like Lowell Davis, where there was already bus service, I don't understand what happened there.
Right. Two things. Can you repeat the part about the Ellis pickup on the common? I
Yeah,
just
so.
missed part of that.
So we've always, you know,
Right.
picked up and dropped off in that area. And there's been some damage to the property, especially in front of the Mason house where the buses and where the parents park, they're kind of up into the property. And so Amy did ask me in the spring, could I reconsider moving that pickup spot? That was kind of difficult to do at the end of the school year, so we waited until this school year. Amy suggested the town hall parking lot because it's, you know, centrally located. It's still a bit of ways from the town common, but it's right there on the street. There's
Yep.
plenty of room,
It's
plenty of
close to the
parking.
highway. you know,
Close to the
easy on,
highway,
easy off.
easy to
There,
Ellis.
parking.
Right.
Yep.
So, so we will talk to Dadco on Wednesday, and then I'll have to get a message out to the parents.
And the second thing regarding Sunset Hill Road, I've been there 20 years. There's never been a bus that can or could go down there, can't turn around there.
It
So
can't turn around, but a
a
van
van
can.
could?
I
Okay.
actually used to get dropped off on Sunset Hill Road on a bus.
Really?
Really?
When I went to school, my piano teacher was on there, so on a certain day I would get on that bus and she lived on Sunset Hill. I didn't see the turnaround because she was one of the first houses, but a
So-
big school bus went down
I
in
remember-
the
I remember
eighties.
Very well, I used to go down there and drop off the Carpenter kids and they
Yeah.
just pull up and they get back into that side road and just take
So all
off.
the years that
Went
I
down
lived there, from 2001 until 2000, until I got divorced, no buses went down there. We had to bring our kids to the end of the road.
Yeah.
To the end of it,
Us
and
too.
that has been what everyone has said, but there's many families with multiple children that have real little ones, and
I know
then so
who,
they gotta
yeah.
pack them all up and bring them down to the end of the road.
That's not our issue. I had
get that.
twins, I had a daughter. I had 3 kids at one time going down there. That's not our issue, the number of kids that people have. I mean, that's part of being a parent. You know, I'm not taking that out on you.
No, but the bus can make it down there. There's no reason the bus
I
cannot.
understand, but if we have to change that for one family, we have to do it across the entire town.
Well, I think in this case, there is a van that runs in that area. So my thing is, well, if it's already running in that area, why can't a van go up that street?
Right.
So I've been on that site and in the big bus, and that little bridge is really narrow, so I can understand where they're coming from. I have not been able to resolve that one at all, except maybe rerouting a van. But the Lowell Davis one seems a little ridiculous to me, since they already used to provide service. Dadco actually drove down there.
Sean Brissett lives up there. I'm sure he'll let us turn around in his yard.
Oh, I don't know, I saw his house, I wouldn't let you.
You know what I mean?
But Mr. Wurgwill and several of his neighbors, and then one of the parents that really needed us to have the bus go down the road, her property was always the turnaround.
Oh, wow.
And she's willing to sign anything to have it happen. So, you know, we're still working on those two things, but know that there's a group of citizens who are miffed over the fact that there used to be transportation.
Yes, it should be.
Rightfully so.
And now there's not. For 40 years,
Yeah.
the bus went down
Yes,
there.
they should be.
Yeah, Melinda, not only are they picked up in the morning, the parents go there to pick them up after.
Oh, that's a problem
So
because,
how's that gonna
yeah,
be at the town hall? You might have a better shot at the library. There may
Or
be
the
more
garage,
parking
town
there.
garage.
Yeah,
Because
you
they
know,
can
okay, in the
drive
morning,
around the
but
back
then
of the
what about the
garage.
afternoon?
I'd go to the town. I would honestly, if that's the
Garage
case, I
would
would
be
go to
better.
the library just because there's heavy machinery coming in and out of that. And during the winter, they're constantly in and out of the town garage. with-
So I'm
kids
thinking
can
of
go
like
into
your
library.
East Thompson
Right.
folks that are gonna be like, you know, I get the convenience of it. I don't know whether, you know.
This
maybe
way, at
do a
least if-
survey or whatever.
if there's something going on, the Parents not there, at least the kids can go into the library.
No, I mean
They
like for
can't
like
go into the
your
town garage.
town.
bus company, yeah.
Then, you know, at least
With
if
the-
there's something going on and a parent misses a
Yeah.
pickup, the kids can go into the library. they can't go into a town garage or, you know what I mean? So it's a little
Yeah,
bit,
it's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even think about the pickup at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. I just had a question about being the contract coming up. How many other, I know you said it's limited because many don't want to do country rural roads, but how many potential bus services do we have at our
So-
disposal for?
Last time we had quite a few.
Oh,
We
really?
had Dadco Durham, First Student, M&J at the end didn't bid, but they came to the initial meeting. Did that one that starts with an A?
Double A
I
transportation,
think-
Shrewsbury.
I thought it was like AAA and we kept thinking it was.
I know
AA
Putnam has
Transportation.
a private vendor as well that isn't the regular big companies. So we had interest.
There's 4 or 5.
Okay, I didn't realize there were that many. I just seeing the buses around our general community, it always seems to be Datco's kind of monopolizing. I did see the M and J or whatever it was.
First student.
It's
Yeah.
interesting that they're saying this about rural roads. Do they currently do Woodstock? Because
We do.
Woodstock,
Dadco does,
So-
well, they do Burrville,
Well-
so.
there's some roads still in Woodstock that are worse than what we have
Oh, yeah.
and are still dirt roads. And I know we have a couple.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see what their other rationale is because that one's bogus.
Yeah, I'll call the superintendent over there and see if he has the same
Yeah.
issues. But we do need to resolve some of them. So hopefully the app is the big thing because I was told it's completely corrupted.
Corrected or corrupted?
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I'm serious.
I'd like to-
Corrected.
You know what?
Corrected,
I may kick you the link and
I heard
say.
corrupted.
Right, it would be nice if it was available for like a test run to make sure that it is actually working correctly, because a lot of parents were extremely upset because they depend on it, and it was, you know, promoted as this is a way to make sure that your kids aren't staying outside too long in cold weather, or if it's raining, then they can sit at the front door, and then the minute you see it hit your bubble, you push them out to the end of your driveway.
It's one of the reasons we put it in the RFP to begin with.
Right.
It's convenient.
I would just stress too that the confidence of families is not there. And you gotta take that into account when you do the contract.
Well, I already told them
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's been probably the biggest complaint. And then was there anything further on any, like a year-end report on like bullying incidences in the school?
So we have that number because Heather
Okay,
just completed the discipline report, so we can tell you bullying numbers by school.
okay,
Yes. That means that the administrator did a complete bullying investigation report and that they've determined that it was actually an act of bullying. So they go through the whole investigation, takes a lot of time, but, and then at the end of the day, they certify that, yes, this was an act of bullying and now here's the safety plan for that student. So those are the ones that are reported to the state.
okay. And that's that number that Heather reported, that 165, or 165 is the report number, or 166. So
I believe so.
the ED 166 is that discipline
Yeah.
report number? Okay.
I'll get that for you.
And if there's a way to see like what our numbers are compared to some of the similar districts in the area. I don't know if there's a way to do that, but, okay.
I don't know. There might be.
It's a public report.
Ready to move on now? Okay. Student handbook approvals. Are you all read these? Cover to cover?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to accept the handbooks with the changes.
I'll second. Okay, got a motion and a second, so discussion.
I have some.
Yes.
And this one's probably just, my address is incorrect on the list. Yep. It's 1081. And it's probably just a me thing, but formatting the dashes are different between each one. Why? That's just and that's probably my huge complaint through all of them is that the formatting is just really, it's not consistent across all three. And in all honesty, portion of my job is reviewing insurance policies and revamping them, and it kind of looks like an elementary or a middle school kid did some of the formatting. And then elementary school PTO, the day for the meetings is incorrect. It's now the second Thursday of every month. But that's changed due to work, but I think that was all my concerns.
Maybe we can, Danielle, maybe we can take a look at get the newsletter out. I don't know if we have time to reformat these in one standard format from my office. To wait and see, but maybe Danielle can take a look at it.
It's just like, because in the elementary one, it says bullying C school climate plan, but then in the middle school and high school, you have bullying, and then also the school, like bullying still has its same paragraph, and then it has another separate paragraph for school climate, and it's pretty much reiterating the same thing as well.
Yeah, yeah. So the middle school and the high school usually tend to look a lot alike, and the elementary has always looked
Then
a
different.
bit different.
In the elementary, reading the Tiger Code, the students will not. I just thought the way that it's presented, like bring guns, any form of knives, other objects that could be used as weapons to school. And then the next thing is chew gum. And then the next thing is threaten adults and fellow students. I think maybe the chew gum should probably go last and maybe have more of like the severe stuff go first, kind of clustered together. I just thought that page 30.
No cannons,
Yeah.
no chewing gum,
Page 30.
no
Yeah.
assault rifle.
I just thought that that was kind of an odd order, I guess you could say.
Pretty dangerous stuff, like,
Right, right. It just, you go from gun to threatening
Yeah,
adults.
chew gum.
Hit a student.
I make one small change. I just realized I got rid of that number last month, my phone number. 860-933-3408. Normal data charges apply.
Oh, there was one more thing. And it's probably more of a question for the IT department, but the costs for like sticker removal, new charger, battery, are all of those the appropriate fees that will actually cover the cost of those items?
Heather could answer that one. Heather,
Yes, those have been updated this year.
Okay.
thank you, Linda, for going through and making those edits too. I spent a lot of time. going through it.
Any more comments on the handbooks. Okay. Bill made the motion, Linda seconded it. There are no more comments, and I'm going to call for the vote to approve these handbooks. All in favor of accepting the handbooks as amended here for the, as revised for the 22-23 school year, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. As part of our financial subcommittee, we discussed non-union salary increases. And part of that discussion was to give a raise this year. And the raise that we discussed was 2.2%, and that was based on the average of all the other raises given to all the unions. So I would like a motion.
Motion.
I will second that.
The motion.
I did.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? And this would be retroactive to July 1st this year. Okay, no discussion. I'll put the motion down for a vote. All in favor of giving non-union salary increases retroactive to July 1st, 2022, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion passes. Our second special meeting or subcommittee meeting was on the superintendent's contract extension. And we decided that to extend her contract another year. Her contract is a 3-year contract with a rolling extension of a year. And it was my pleasure to extend her contract another year. Thank you. And to give her a raise also. It doesn't say here that we vote on a raise. That we do.
I think so.
Okay, and to give her a raise of 2.5%. I'll take like a motion on that.
I'll make the motion again. Second it.
And the second. So the motion is to extend Superintendent Smith's contract for 1 year and to give her a 2.5% raise retroactive to July 1st. Sure. Any discussion on that?
I would probably just, if somebody hears extension 1 year, just reiterate like what that would extension would look like 2026 or something like that, where it could get misconstrued by some that we only have her for 1 year. If they hear we're just extending it a year. So, maybe having it, doing like school year wise, how far out we have her so far, we'll have her.
Right. So she's on a rolling 3-year.
Right.
Okay. So her contract is good for this year, next year, and we've now extended it
to FY
2025, 26.
26. Okay. Yeah. So that, I think that should probably
Put in the motion.
Yeah.
All right, so then I'll amend the
Yeah.
motion.
What I need to do is tomorrow I will call our attorney, Stephen Sador, and he writes up a new contract with the actual dollars that entails. So Bill, you need to email me those dollars. Because he likes to put that into the contract. I mean, I can figure it out myself, but it's more appropriate that it comes for you. attach that to the email that I sent to him. Okay, so. Any more discussion? More questions? Okay, hearing none, I will put the motion to the floor for a vote. All in favor of extending Superintendent Smith's contract for a year and giving her a raise, say aye.
Aye.
All, any opposition, say no. Any abstentions? Okay, congratulations. You're with us for another year.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
you're with us for 3 more years.
Yes.
Okay. I have not received any correspondence.
Just the one that I gave you.
Right, but we're not, because that was
No.
anonymous, so we don't
Yeah.
discuss that. We do not respond to anonymous or read from
Correct.
anonymous, so. If you need to correspond with any of us, you need to put your name on it. Any citizens' comments, board comments?
Just a kind of continuation on the correspondence, or is there a way when citizens make comments in the meeting, I know we're not supposed to have a back and forth, but if they bring up a topic, is it something that we could then put under old business? So when we do have an answer for something, it gets put into those board minutes, so that way maybe somebody else has that same question, instead of just reiterating it back into an email to that one person, it goes out.
Sure. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
That's fine. I just don't want us to get into a,
Right.
a discussion. You can, if you have an answer, like, how many kids took the bus to so-and-so, and if you know the answer to it, you can answer that question. But it's like, I don't want us to get into esoteric discussions, or are you, when does the DATCO contract end? You know the answer to that. Go ahead, answer that question. But it's, well, what are we going to do such and such? No, mask mandates was a good one.
Right.
We don't get into that. It's a mask mandate, we follow the law, period. But we don't have that anymore, but I'm using that as a prior example.
And then do we have an update on if all the kindergarten placement letters have been sent? Because that's been another concern in the community, that a lot of them have not received their letter yet. I know we were waiting to hire, but
They're all filled now.
But yes, if you have correspondence that has a name on it, that's what you can read. We read it into the minutes. Send a copy to everybody on the board. If appropriate, we will either put it into the minutes or read it.
Okay.
I know the Board of Finance does not read it into the minutes. They just put it in the minutes, but.
Yeah, funny. Did we hire back all of the ones that we laid off, or do we still have to do that?
We did that.
We did.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're done with that.
Is that when we did it?
We did it in June.
After the budget passed.
Remember the discussions? Yeah, I remember the discussions we had. I just can't remember if we voted on it or
You did.
we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made the motion.
Yep, fired back. Back to June 8th.
I think there was only one teacher too.
There was.
Right. Yeah.
Right. No. The June meeting or the-
It was June.
I know we did vote on it in the minute. Yeah. Teacher, yeah, teacher recalls.
All right.
We did. Okay.
53, it sucks. 54 in a month. It's really sucks.
Well, Okay, any other board comments? Other than that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Second.